People can determine the future if they understand and then decide on the choices open to them.
So here we are in the home of the future. What does it look like? Well,
you and I get a surprising amount wrong about the future, but not in the ways that you might think.
I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time.
We're not talking here about failed predictions. We're talking about how you and I engage with time to come. And this matters because the things we get wrong turn out to have some very real-world consequences.
They say the future cannot be predicted. It will be invented, and it is determinable.
Technology is transforming the world beyond all recognition.
Future.
Future. Future. The future.
Think about the future.
Let me explain. There's a fairly commonly held assumption that we live in a short-term world. More on that in a moment. And we clearly don't think about the future because if we did, we wouldn't get blindsided by things that we could have easily have seen coming. But perhaps we have good reason not to engage with the future. The future can look pretty unappealing and unpalatable. It can look so uncertain that what's the point in planning? And the forces shaping the future can look so vast and powerful, we can easily feel like we have little influence to change course. But whilst this might sound familiar, you might also be thinking, hang on, I think about the future all the time. And you're right, we do think about the future. A lot. We think about our upcoming appointments and scribble down to-do list items. We form intentions to read, exercise or practice musical instruments. We look forward to spending time with family and friends at the weekend. We ponder and predict what our futures might hold in the years to come. One study found that Chicago residents spent 14% of their day contemplating the future, compared with just 4% thinking about the past. This amounts to a solid hour of thinking about the future for every 7 hours of thinking. When it comes to the longer term future, it turns out that we really struggle. In his book, The Good Ancestor, Roman Krznaric quotes survey data to show that for most people, the future goes dark after 15 to 20 years. This suggests that a lot of people aren't thinking at all about great chunks of their lives to come, parent and grandparenthood, their middle age or retirement. So back to something I mentioned earlier, short-termism. Is it getting worse? You and I are surrounded by some pretty powerful forces that pin our attention to an increasingly tiny territory of time in the here and now. Distractive technologies, short-sighted business and politics, tightly wound around short electoral news cycles, not to mention our mind's natural bias towards the present over some abstract future. But even when we do think about the future, we still have a major blind spot. And it is this: we really struggle to grasp change, both in terms of its scale and its speed. So let's look at this from two perspectives. First, we underestimate as individuals how much we will change in the future. Research has suggested that we suffer from a kind of end of history illusion. This means that whatever stage in life we've reached, we believe we're at the watershed moment at which we finally become the person we'll be for the rest of our lives. As a result, we tend to underestimate how much change we'll undergo in the future. This means we're more likely to over-invest in things and experiences for the future that are based on what we like and need today, and mistakenly assume that our likes and needs will broadly be the same in the future from here on in. We don't just underestimate how much we'll change in the future, we may well be underestimating just how much the world around us will change. And I'm not just talking about change related to the state of the world geopolitically or about climate change. I'm talking about the pace of technological change. So how much technological change can we reasonably expect to experience over the course of our lifetimes or over the course of the next century? Technology is advancing in great strides all around us and on multiple fronts. AI, augmented reality, quantum computing, robotics, to name just a few. But whilst this change feels fast, there is a critical feature of the future that is leaving us even more wrong about what the world might look like in just a decade's time, let alone 50 or 100 years. And that is how these technologies will combine to really accelerate change. AI in batteries gives rise to self-driving electric cars. The awesome power of quantum computing holds the potential to discover new chemicals, materials, drugs at speed. How? Well, it transforms the cost of research. Switch your costly wet lab for a quantum computer that can do all the testing for you. American inventor Ray Kurzweil put it like this. Imagine the amount of development that took place between the advent of agriculture and the birth of the internet, some 20,000 years. Kurzweil suggests that we can expect double that amount of technological progress again in the next 100 years. Or to put that another way, the level of progress and innovation that took us over 20 millennia to achieve will be attained twice over the next 876,000 hours. Now you might think that sounds wild or naive optimism, but even if the rate of change is a tenth of this, it's still a dizzying speed that will utterly transform the future look and feel of our lives. Of course, technological change is just one force that shapes what lies ahead. So with all this change swirling around us, how can you prepare yourself for such a future? Continue on to this video, which explores 7 fundamental characteristics you and I need if we're going to become future fit. Thanks for watching.